Hello, BenchWire crew, the gang. We are back, man. What a weekend of football. Man, we got a lot to get into this episode. And, as always, I'm joined by the man, the myth, the legend, Stefan Amplo, man. How you doing?
Doing well, at least for the most part. After this past weekend, I don't know. But, yeah, I made it through. I'm here. I'm ready to unleash all my thoughts onto the world and what I think of what transpired this past weekend.
Yeah, man. We're going to get right into it. So hold on. I know you got a lot of Giants things. Just hold on to that. We're going to get into that. But first, let's start off on a little bit more of a positive note, right? We start
Positive.
off with Sunday Night Football. I was waiting all day. Sunday night, I was getting hyped for it, man. And the Eagles, they're getting so fly, as Michael Irvin wants to say, so fly and so fi, man. What a showing! I thought it would be a closer game because Matt Stafford. I have a lot of respect for him. Such an underrated quarterback, but really good. Sean McVay, I got a lot of respect for him. Great play caller, great coach, and Cooper Kupp, Puka and Nakua. They got a good squad, even though the record they're middle of the pack. They're mediocre record wise. I think they still got a good squad. They still got a chance to compete and win the NFC West, right? I thought that was a dominant showing. The defense, yeah, it took them a while to settle in. They were running the ball well. They were doing some things well offensively, but they've settled in. They played well. Shout out to the defense. And man, the saddest part, Brandon Graham, one of my favorite Eagles of all time, probably my favorite Eagle of all time, man. He played, dude. He's 36 years old, and he's still playing like prime, man, like his prime. It's crazy, but torn tricep, he's done for the year. And I just gotta say, man, if this is it, thank you. You were a hell of a player, man. It was a joy watching you. I would love for you to come back, but if you don't, totally understand that. But man, I had to give you a shout out. You're balling, man. You were balling, and yeah, man, it was rough to see that. But the main talking point, Saquon Barkley, right? Ninth all-time rushing performance, right? 255, 2 touchdowns. He broke 2 long ones. And you got to give the O-line a lot of credit, right? Open up nice holes for him to just take advantage of. And yeah, man, it's just been fun to watch. And we're going to start the MVP conversation there. I think he's absolutely in that. It's between him and Josh Allen now. So the path for a running back is a little bit challenging, but I think there's a way if he keeps up this level of production. I think there's a great avenue for that. If you look at the likes of like an Eric Dickerson or Adrian Peterson, who've had like through their first 11 games, they had similar splits. Barkley has a little bit more rushing yards. His stats are a little bit better. If he keeps up a consistent pace, keep rushing the ball the way he does, he has a strong chance, a strong argument to be made. But yeah, it's between him and Josh Allen right now. I know we're gonna get in the Ravens. Lamar had a strong showing too, so you have to give respect there as well. But man, what a performance! And I'll give it back to you. What do you think of Saquon? What do you think of the Eagles' win? Do you have him still in like Super Bowl contenders with the Lions and the NFC?
Yeah, I think the Eagles and Lions, they got to be the best two teams right now. I think it's either one of them in the Super Bowl right now. But yeah, Saquon, dog, happy to see him be successful, finally getting to showcase his talents. He's finally surrounded by pieces that can make him successful. Has probably the best offensive line in the league, right up there with the Lions. So, and now that you have A.J. Brown to worry about, Devontae when he's healthy, Dallas Goedert, like he can perform because they have to worry about all those other pieces. So it's a great fit there for the Eagles, and that's why he's doing what he's doing, putting up the numbers that he's putting up. I think it's going to be tough to win MVP, but if he breaks the single season rushing record, I think he wins MVP. I think that's what it's going to take to win MVP. Yeah. It's going to be hard because, you still got, a tougher schedule coming up. You got the Ravens, you got the Steelers still coming up, and then you still got divisional games, but the Giants suck, the Cowboys suck, and you got to play the Commanders one more time. So I feel like it's going to be tough. You're not going to get 2 home runs, like touchdowns, like 70-plus yards every game. That's just not going to happen. But You could see one maybe, but two is going to be tough to get every game the way they did this past Sunday night. But, dude, he's a dog. He's been killing it. Got to give him my respect and my flowers there. But, yeah, I think it's definitely the Eagles right now and the Lions in the running for the Super Bowl. So, we got to see them play the Ravens this week. I feel like it will be a closer game, but right now I have the Eagles winning that game. I do. So I want to see them get battle tested by the Ravens, play the Steelers, and maybe the Commanders one more time. But if they can go through that gauntlet, win those games, and they're hot right now, but it just takes one game to ruin the momentum and everything. So I think Saquon, yeah, right now it's him and Josh Allen for MVP. But I would give Josh Allen a slight edge because he's a quarterback right now. But if he wins that rushing record, like I said, I think he'll win MVP. But yeah, I think the Eagles, they're looking good. They're hot right now, and you got to give credit to that defense, Vic Fangio. Like that's the difference between this year and last year. Vic Fangio and what that defense has been able to do, holding these like high, powerful offenses to less than 20 points a game. And last year, this time, they were choking and losing games because of their defense. And now you got the studs and Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean there, right? And that defensive line, they're actually getting after the quarterback. I know you guys just lost Brandon Graham, but Jalen Carter's been a dog. Nolan Smith has been showing up. And yeah, we got to see who's going to step up now with the absence of Brandon Graham. But honestly, like if they just keep doing what they're doing and play complimentary football, like the linebackers, Zach Ball and Nakobe Dean, they've been special. So, they just got to play complimentary football the way that they've been doing. And yeah, this team's right there with the Lions, I think, is the two best teams right now in the NFL. I would say those are the two best teams. And I think they're better than all the AFC teams right now. So
yeah, I can't disagree with you on that point. They do look like two best teams in NFC, arguably the NFL, as you said. Yeah, and the Brandon Graham loss is going to be pretty huge. Like, what do you do with Zach Bond now? He played edge with the Saints. Do you bring him more off the edge now? Do you play Jeremiah Trotter Jr. or Ben Van Zoomer? Did they get more reps at linebacker now? So it's going to be interesting to see what Fangio does. They did sign, I think, Christian Harris, I believe is his name. I might have messed it up. An edge rusher. So they are trying to get edge rushers. There is a rumor that Shaq Barrett is like unretiring, wants to come back. So maybe there's a way to get Shaq Barrett. I don't know. I don't know for sure. But yeah, I think Howie is on the prowl for an edge rusher. And yeah, man. Yeah, big game this week. I saw the Eagles are 2.5-point underdogs with the Ravens, but this is going to be a lot. This is going to prove what kind of team the Eagles are, how good that defense is. Are they going to live up to it? Lamar Jackson, tough quarterback. Derrick Henry. Going to be a tough matchup. It's going to be fun seeing Derrick Henry versus the Eagles defense and Saquon versus the Ravens defense. It's going to be a fun matchup to watch. So we'll be looking out for that. And let's see, what's our next topic? Oh, yeah, let's stick it in the NFC East, right? We got the Commanders-Cowboys game. And, man, did the special teams sell the Commanders?
yeah.
Steve, watching that game, what did you think? What were your thoughts?
I was happy Terry got that beautiful touchdown there, secured me pretty much that fantasy win against my brother, that 87-yarder. But talk about the Commanders game, that game, the last 5 minutes they scored how many points? It was a low-scoring game, and then all of a sudden touchdown, special teams, I was like, wow, what the hell is happening? That was a crazy, wild ending. I haven't seen something like that in a while. All those points scored in the last 5 minutes. But, yeah, that botched snap by the long snapper there. They missed the extra point, and that is pretty much what sold that game. And, yeah, I feel like the Commanders, it's a good wake-up call. It's a game that they needed to, I guess, lose here. And, it's a good battle test for them to right the ship here and hopefully get it all back together. Like, another reason why I think they lost this game, I feel like Jaden Daniels, he's hurt right now. I feel like he's playing through an injury. Ever since that rib injury that he had, like he's been toughening up and playing through it. Just hasn't been the same since he got that injury. I've noticed that. Like he hasn't looked as special, hasn't looked like that motherfucking dog that you've been saying. So I feel
It
like
still is.
this is a good wake up call for the Commanders. You know, it's a division game. I don't know who they have next on their schedule there, but you know, I feel like they're still a good team. They're still in the hunt to make the playoffs there. So if they, you know, correct what they did wrong in this game and against the Eagles previous week, I feel like they'll be just fine. I don't know how far they'll go in the playoffs. They're, you know, first year in the rebuild with Dan Quinn and company, but yeah, it's a good wake up call for them. And yeah, it's unfortunate that they lost there with the special teams, but yeah, and then on the Cowboys side of things, you know, it's a good win for Mike McCarthy, who wants to keep his job, Cooper Rush, and all that. And they got the Giants this week. They should win that game. Giants are dysfunctional right now. We'll talk about that later.
We definitely will.
But yeah, the Cowboys, it's a much needed win for them and their fan base, and something to look forward to. I don't know how many more wins they have left on their schedule. They've been a bad team, but you know, beating a divisional opponent there, it's a good win for them. Get them back on track and maybe, you know, squeeze some wins here to make the fan base feel better. And maybe Mike McCarthy can save his job. So I don't know. Jerry Jones was talking possible extension. I don't know. That's what he said today. He likes McCarthy a lot. So maybe they keep McCarthy. I don't know. But all in all, I think the Commanders, they'll be fine. The Cowboys, they're in that like wishy-washy spot right now. It's like, do you win games or you tank? You get a better draft pick. I don't know. They're supposed to be a good team. At least Jerry Jones thinks they are. So I don't know. But that's my thoughts on that game.
Yeah, and just one more point on the Cowboys side. How about Kevontae Turpin? That return was crazy.
Yeah,
That spin
dude,
move.
that
The
360. Oh
dude
my
can
god,
fly.
he
He's so
shook him.
athletic, so fast. Yeah, they need to utilize him more in the passing game, like on the offense, just to provide a
Yeah,
spark. I think that would be a smart move for Mike McCarthy and them. But yeah, to the Commanders side, yeah, I agree that Jane Daniels hasn't been as special, right? That rib injury, that's tough. You got to play through that, and you're taking hits too. So the Commanders haven't had their bye week yet, so they want to make it to the bye. So they got the Titans. They should beat the Titans this week. I believe they do. Spoiler: I'm going to pick them in that game.
as you
So
should.
they should take care of business, and that is a good momentum builder going to the bye with that W. I think that's important. And then through the rest of the schedule, you got to play the Eagles. You don't play the Giants. You will play Dallas one more time. And I don't know what's rest in your schedule, but yeah, you just gotta weather the storm a little bit. Yeah, you lost a couple games in a row now, but get right this week, and I think you'll be fine. The special teams, that can't happen. Like that onside kick that got returned for a touchdown can't happen. And yeah, that just happens. Like there's miscues. You just gotta clean it up and you gotta be better. But that it's a pretty young team and pretty like they're getting more experience. So like for them to make the playoffs would be a good first step in like the Dan Quinn, like the rebuilding. And yeah, I think they'll be just fine when it's all said and done. I think they're still a pretty good team, and like I said, they got the motherfucking dog. Just get him right, get him healthy,
Mr.
make him
G.
get him to the bye week. He'll be fine. You know, he still dropped me 30 points with one with like cracked ribs, so he's still good. So yeah, man, that was the Commanders. But man, let's talk about the greatest quarterback in the game right now, Patrick Mahomes, Chiefs. They barely beat the Panthers, man. Mahomes heroics. The Panthers scored tied at 27-27. Everyone was saying, man, like a minute 50 left. He gave Mahomes too much time. And man, did he prove it. He scrambled out of the pocket, took it all the way down the field, and they basically iced the game. The backup kicker came in. Butker was hurt. Kick it. They win the game. But I guess my question, Steve, you know, they lose that Bills game. We get it. Understandable. Josh Allen, great quarterback, and there's fits when you play a guy like that. But Bryce Young, who's been playing better, second year, first year head coach Dave Canales, a young team, you struggle there. Are you worried about the Chiefs in the long run? I know we kind of talked about it last week. Are you concerned with the defense? The defense giving up 27? Is that concerning to you? What's the problems in Kansas City?
Yeah, I just feel like they're injured right now. They don't have the guys that they came into with the start of the season there, like on offense. Like they were missing a Pacheco, who is to expect to return this week. You don't have Rasheed Rice. You sign Marquise Brown here in the offseason. He hasn't played a game. He's out for the season. So like there's been a collection of injuries there on the offensive side of the ball. Defensively, I don't know like what has been the weakness with them, just allowing a lot of points. But I feel like they just turn on a switch in the playoffs. But they still find ways to win in the regular season. It's not like they're awful right now. They're 10-1. They have a great record. They're the number one team in the AFC. They have the number one seed. It's just, it's not looking good on paper. Like the Panthers were really close in that game. But with Andy Reid and that coaching staff and Patrick Mahomes there, if they just find ways to win like they always do, I'm not worried about them. Because playoff time, they're a different breed. They're the best team in the AFC. And Patrick Mahomes, he goes off. Travis Kelce, he does his thing. And yeah, you're going to get Pacheco back in the fold. You're going to have Kareem Hunt. They're going to split carries here. So that should be a nice little 1-2 punch. And that's how they, thrive. They thrive off the run game there. And now you got D-Hop in the mix as well, who's been pretty solid for you. He's been, very touchdown dependent, but he hasn't been the guy getting like 100 yards every game. But I feel like if you utilize him more, get him more into the game plan, and I think they'll be unstoppable in the playoffs. It's just teams like the Bills might scare me because they got their number there in the regular season, but can they get the job done in the playoffs? And the Ravens, those are the two teams that might give the Chiefs fits. But I'm not worried about it because they have the formula to beat those teams. They've done it there again and again in the playoffs, and it's just a matter of them putting it all together and scheming it up and coming up with a game plan to do it. And if they stay healthy from here on out, Pacheco comes back full force, I'm not really worried about them. I think they'll be fine. They still beat the Panthers. I know they had quite a few lucky wins, people might say. They blocked the field goal against the Broncos there. They should have lost that game. But, they earned their way to win. It's not like it was a lucky win. It was a special teams play. And, special players make special plays, and that's what they do. That is the Chiefs organization right now. So I like the Chiefs a lot. I'm not really worried about them right now. The only time I'll be worried about them is if they lose in the playoffs. That's what I'm worried about them. So right now, I think they're still in the running for the Super Bowl. And the Panthers, they look good. Bryce Young has been good as of late. Keeping it close there with the Chiefs, that's something, to pat them on the back for. And then beating the Giants there in overtime. So, we've been seeing some good outings with Bryce Young. And, yeah, that's a good bright spot there with the Panthers. So, all in all, I'm not worried about the Chiefs and the Panthers. And they could just build up from here.
Yeah, I just think the Chiefs have some issues to clear up, like the secondary. Like Bryce Young was throwing into some clean windows to throw the ball into. So I think secondary, they have some stuff to fix. That's one thing. And then the other thing is Mahomes is getting pressure in his face, especially off the edge with the tackle play. The tackle play has to improve. It has to be better. But I'm pretty much with you. It's so hard to write them off after consecutive years of Super Bowl wins, man. So it's so hard to write them off until they actually lose. They're like, oh, they actually lost. What? So it's you can't write them off, or you can't even. It's tough to even bet against them, even though you're there's some issue here, there's an issue there. It's tough. You can't. It's like Brady. I'm not saying Mahomes Brady. It's just tough to bet against that guy, especially with Andy Reid there too. It's tough. It's tough to bet against them, but. Yeah, I will say though, we have seen teams collapse. I don't think it'll happen with this team, but You got the Black Friday game. You got the Raiders coming in. Don't you think the Raiders saw what the Panthers did and be like, we have a shot. Remember last year we beat them? We could beat them. We have a shot. So these teams that have no business of being can't hold the field with you, can't stay on the field with you, have no business to share the field with you. They're going to think like, hey, we can shock the world, we can win. So with your play, they got time to turn it around. It's not the playoffs yet. Like the end of last year, they had struggles and they turned it around. So, and I've been saying it's how you end, it's not how you start. So they gotta get things cleaned up and they gotta start playing a little bit better football, complementary football. It's like if the offense struggles, the defense picks them up, and vice versa. Like this game, the offense was humming, the defense was kind of struggling. So they need to put together a complete team win, a team game there. But enough with the Chiefs. Talk about another AFC team real quick. The Ravens, right? The Ravens, they won the Harbaugh Bowl last night, Monday night. Good game, good showing. Lamar Jackson reminded us why he was in the MVP conversation. So, just initial takeaways of the game. What you like about the Chargers? What you like about the Ravens? And what you took? What are your big takeaways?
Yeah, Lamar, he looks like a top 3 quarterback right now. He's been balling. Derrick Henry, dog, right? And that offense is humming right now. That Ravens offense is finding ways to score points there. Mark Andrews, Rashad Bateman, right? Derrick Henry's been a dog. I just like that offense. I feel like they're going to be hard to beat come playoff time, come colder weather, right? Just running with Derrick Henry. It's going to be hard to tackle that man. I feel like they will find ways to win because of that. And that defense, I feel like last night the secondary picked it up. Quentin Johnson, he was pretty much a bum, kept dropping the ball there.
He did.
But like they were up in his grill like that whole game. But Justin Herbert, he looks good. J.K. Dobbins, hopefully he could come back healthy there. But Gus Edwards, he's a solid, backup there that can carry a load here for the remainder games if, J.K. does have to miss time there. But, yeah, all in all, I think the Ravens, they'll be fine. And the Chargers, they'll be fine as well. Like, I think the Ravens, they're second in the division right now. And they still have a chance to win the division title. It's not over yet. They can still win that division. The Steelers got some tough games here, and they could, wind up losing some of them, and the Ravens could still win. So they're still in the running to win the division here, and I wouldn't be surprised if they do win the division. But, yeah, it's just going to be tough beating the Ravens, I feel like, here on out with Derrick Henry. If they utilize Derrick Henry and keep running that football and, not rely as much on the pass, that is the winning formula for this team. So I like the Ravens a lot. I feel like they can make a stride here come playoff time. And all in all, I think the Ravens are one of the best teams in the league, and I would have them in my top 5 right now.
Yeah, they definitely are a top 5 team. Just on the Chargers side, I love what Jim Harbaugh's doing with this team. They're 7-3 coming in. I think now they dropped to 7-4. They're playing a really good ball. I know they were playing a really good team too. The Ravens are not an easy opponent, but man, I thought they did a pretty good job. Justin Herbert looks good. I thought they played a relatively decent game, and I think they'll make the playoffs and everything will be fine. The future's bright there. But on the Ravens side, that's a good win, right? Going West Coast, going to SoFi Stadium. You're without your best defensive player. Your Roquan Smith was inactive. He did not play. And that was a good showing, right? You were talking about J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards. That's a good showing, getting pressure on Herbert. Really good showing defensively. And just the thing with the Ravens, like the Ravens are arguably one of the most talented rosters in the NFL, in the AFC. The biggest opponent is not who is on the other sideline. It's themselves, right? They lost a lot of games just shooting themselves in the foot. That Pittsburgh game, like I said at the end of the podcast, like Derrick Henry not touching the ball in the fourth quarter is inexcusable. You can't do that. And only 13 touches. You can't do that. And like you said, great point. It's what the Eagles are doing. They're using Saquon to set up the run, set up the pass game, right? That makes it easier for Hurts to throw. Same thing. I know Lamar Jackson is a million miles way better than Jalen Hurts. And I know you don't have to really run it as much, but getting consistent run with Derrick Henry makes it so much easier for your offense. And another thing, I keep forgetting Deontay Johnson's on the team. Like, where the hell is he?
I don't think he gets targets. I don't think he
where
sees the
is he?
field. I don't
You
know why they
traded for him.
bother.
Like, where is this guy?
Yeah, why trade for him if you're not going to use him?
I see Bateman, I see Andrews, I see Likely, I see Say Flowers, but damn, where's the guy you just traded for midseason?
Yeah.
So I like to see him more involved there. But good showing for the Ravens, like we said. It's going to be a fun matchup with them and the Eagles to see who comes out top there this Sunday against the Eagles in Baltimore. It's going to be fun to watch. Yeah, you know what? Let's rip the Band-Aid off. The moment we've been waiting for. The G-Men, the Giants. So during last week, we get the shocking news. Daniel Jones got benched. We talked about it on the podcast. But we knew that was coming eventually, but we didn't realize that he would get cut, released. The Giants said, we're done. We'll eat the $20 million dead cap. We don't care. Cut you right now. He cleared waivers yesterday, so he's looking for a new home. That remains to be seen. I know there's a couple teams interested, and I understand that too. But, man, before I turn it over to you, Steve, to just unload on this team, and I'm excited to hear your thoughts, I just want to review, like, your Sunday, right? 1 o'clock, you watched the Giants-Buccaneers game. It was a really non-competitive game, right? 30-0, and then all of a sudden – then Brian Dable's like, you know what? We got this really good rookie receiver. We didn't really throw him the ball at all. Now let's get him involved. We're down 30-0. Now let's throw him the ball. So you deal with that. That must have been a tough watch, man. And 4:25, right? You're like, okay, let's watch some better football. Let's put on the Niners-Packers game, right? That might be some good football. I could escape from the Giants season a little bit. But no, what was that? Xavier McKinney, 7 interceptions. And you're like, gosh darn it, Joe Shane, you let this motherfucker go too. He's like, well, shit. Things can't get any worse. Let's turn on the Sunday night football game. 255, 2 touchdowns, Saquon Barkley. Like, oh, fuck me. What can we get right, man? I was feeling for you a little bit. It sucks. Like, watching like 2 of your outside of like Dexter Lawrence, obviously watching 2 of your best players go and just get that change of scenery, get into a better team, like a better culture that we're now coming out to find out, and they're flourishing, they're thriving. They look like studs at their position, like both top 5, top 3, safety and running back, you know? So, but yeah, a lot to unpack with the Giants. So I'll give you the floor. You got it, man. Let's hear it.
Yeah, I don't even know where to start. Like, let's talk about Jones, I guess. I didn't expect him to get cut until after the season, so that kind of threw me off guard. But I knew it was happening. It was just a matter of time. But what Jones did, he went up to John Mara and requested his release, and they gave it to him because, like, honestly, it would just cause more drama if he was still on the team. And he was our scout team safety for a practice, right? And they even signed a practice squad quarterback to make him the 4th-string quarterback. And they made Tim Boyle
that's great.
the
That's
3rd
nuts.
string. So I feel like it was major disrespect there for Jones and what he's been through. He's been a team player, stand-up guy for this organization for 6 years. He's been a true pro. And the way, I guess, we handled it there at the end, kind of disrespectful. And, kind of sucks to see how it ended up. But it is what it is. He's going to find a new landing spot here, hopefully soon. I think he's going to go to a contender. If I had to pick, I think he's going to not get that Raiders job, right? I wouldn't want to play for the Raiders right now, even though if he wants to start, that option's probably open for him. But I feel like what he wants to do, he wants to go to a winning culture there and go to a contender like the Ravens, back up Lamar in case Lamar gets hurt or something, right? Or he could go to the Niners, learn behind Brock Purdy and that Kyle Shanahan offense, or the Vikings, they were saying. But, yeah, I don't think he'll go to the Raiders. I don't think he wants to go in another dysfunctional team right now and just wants a change of scenery there. But yeah, just feel bad for the guy. But it is what it is. Now let's talk about that game that happened Sunday. So yeah, Tommy DeVito and that offense did not look good at all. I don't know. The offensive line, they were just not blocking. I know our left tackle, Jermaine Illuminor, who we signed this past off season, he's been a solid tackle for us. He got hurt in that game. And that's where the game just unfolded. Like, they were just generating pressure after pressure. DeVito had, like, no time in the pocket. Yeah, and they weren't even utilizing Malik Neighbors there. So I don't know if it was more of Tommy DeVito not seeing him. He is a third-string quarterback. I don't know if you want to blame everything on Dable for not getting Malik involved. It could have been a Tommy DeVito situation. Could have been the offensive line not blocking and giving him enough time there in the pocket because he was getting sacked like every play. I think he got sacked like 6 times this past Sunday. And then, Tyron Tracy fumbling the ball when we're finally getting in scoring position there. So, like, it was just a lot of things that happened. The defense as well. They are a Swiss cheese defense, worst rush defense in the league. They allow, 150 yards per game rushing? That just can't happen. And there's people giving up. I saw Bobby Okereke, right? He was just doing cardio. There was like one play where Bucky Irving caught a screen pass, and he could have made a tackle at Bucky there, and he just kept running alongside him. Like, there's a clip out there somewhere. I'll send it to you later. People could look it up. But, like, the team is giving up. It's not a good look for Joe Shane and Brian Dable right now. So let's talk about them two and what I think about them two. So I feel like they're fighting for their jobs right now. They have to be.
I would hope so.
I would hope so, right? What? They're 2-9. Okay. You're losing the locker room right now. After all the comments, Malik, Dexter, Lawrence, like, they said they're soft. The Giants are soft right now, and they are. They truly are. So I think Dable's fighting for his job right now, and Shane's fighting for his job. I don't know how you can bring them both back with how the season's unfolding and just the dysfunction, and you're trying to build this locker room and this culture here, and it's kind of hard when your team's giving up on you. And why is that? It's probably because how you handled the quarterback situation there, right? Just giving up on the guy and demoting him all the way down to quarterback 4, having him at scout safety. It's just not a good look. And you should have did it during the bye week, right? You should have demoted him during the bye week so they had that week to, like, settle in instead of announcing it that week when they have their first game back. They did not look prepared at all. And everyone was just caught off guard from the Jones being cut. That's why I feel like the score is what it was. And it just sucks to see how it happened. I think they're not going to fire Dable or Shane until the end of the season, though. I feel like they will give them to the end of the season because they'll get a better draft pick that way if they do suck. Okay. But honestly, you got to give Drew Lock a shot. You have to. I like the story of Tommy Cutlets and everything, but I feel like you got to give Drew Lock a shot. You sign him to be your backup. He's kind of butthurt too right now. You sign him 1 year, $5 million. You could use that money to pay Saquon or Xavier McKinney. So, like, that baffles me. So I would give him a shot. I know he's got some incentives tied to his deal, but all in all, it's just I don't know where they go from here.
But yeah, man, let's close it off there. Thank you for tuning in to BenchWire. We love you. The Facebook, man, you gotta check it out. We love old people on there. We're trying to set the old people up, bring love back into the world. No, not really. We just trying to create engagement on there with the older crowd. So come check us out on Facebook. Where are we, Steve? Instagram. We don't have Snapchat, but you can follow my boy Steven Amplo. Ladies, slide in. Amplo will have the best streaks with you, man. Sends really cute pictures. He'll send you morning streaks, good night streaks. And man, follow him. He'll drop it in the comments. We'll pin it. You could follow him on there. Yeah.
I'll highlight the best streak of the day and
Maybe you
every
could find
podcast.
maybe you could find some Reno girls out there, you know. We can
There you
get
go.
we got Instagram, Twitter. I don't know. Twitter's Twitter. X is X, man. But
Yeah.
Spotify, Apple Podcasts, we're everywhere, man. But yeah, it should be a fun week. We've been posting our predictions, TikTok. We'll have that up later in the week, so stay on the lookout for that. And Stefan Emplo, any other questions? Make sure you give him your Snapchat handle too, my friend.
Do I have any questions?
Final thoughts. No,
Yeah, because you said questions. Like what? Any final thoughts?
Your turn to ask me. No, I'm joking. Any final thoughts?
Any final thoughts? Well, if you guys did enjoy this, just drop a like, subscribe, share this to your family and friends. Get this out there. We want to grow. So make that happen. And yeah, just go follow our socials. We're more active on there. Posting more TikToks for you guys. Go run up the score predictions as well. Give us your upsets of the week. And other than that, we can end off there, Justin. Give it back to you.
Yeah, just one final quick message. Happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy the food, the camaraderie with friends and family. Just make sure you tell the people that matter most in your life how much you love them, how much they mean to you, how thankful you are to them. That it's a good holiday. It's a good holiday, just a remembrance, time to reflect. You know, it's important to do that. So I wanted to make that clear. Yeah, it's good holiday, and especially when you got a couple football games, even though they might not be the best football games, but
no, they're gonna be
it's
entertaining.
football. It's football nonetheless. So yeah, happy Thanksgiving, and yeah, Black Friday. Make sure you take advantage of those deals, man.
There you go.
All right. With that being said, BenchWire.
Ow.
Ow.